Hi, welcome back or welcome if you're new to Essential Yoga with Frayah. I'm Frayah and today we are going to be doing a gorgeous practice for our legs. So it'll help with our hamstrings, our hip flexors, our IT band. It'll also help your lower back, like everything that's sort of affected by the legs. So when you're ready, if you want to pop something comfortable on, you will need a strap. If you don't have a yoga strap, a scarf does the job, a long sock will do the job too, just something you can hook around your foot and take hold of. And then when you're ready, come and join me on the mat. Wonderful. So we are going to start lying down, everyone's favourite. And when you're ready, just come in down onto the mat, lying on your back, maybe knees bent, maybe legs lengthened away. And just take a moment, lowering the gaze or closing the eyes, drawing the awareness in. Just checking in and noticing how you're feeling within yourself. With no judgment, no expectation, just awareness. Let the awareness come to settle on the breath. And simply following the flow of breath in and out of the body. Breathing through the nose as best as you can. Trying to gently deepen the inhale and lengthen the exhale. Letting the center expand with the inhale and settle with your exhale. And throughout this practice, try to keep the breathing steady. And at times when muscles maybe feel tight, or you find some frustration that the body isn't maybe moving into a pose the way you'd like it to, see if you can acknowledge that and then come back to the breath. Finding a way to settle into those feelings that are maybe sometimes uncomfortable, sometimes less desired. And when you're ready, moving gently, we're going to draw the right knee in, clasping around your right knee. With the exhale, hugging that knee in towards the body. With the inhale, just easing off slightly. So the exhale hugs the knee in. The inhale easing off. And just continuing like this. Left leg could be bent, or you could lengthen the left leg away from you along the mat. If you lengthen the left leg away, just notice how that alters this stretch, Apanasana. This is the wind releasing pose, so, if that happens, go with it. That's what the pose is for. It's all natural. Great. Then we're going to bring our right hand to rest on the right knee, left hand resting on the left hip, and we're going to take that right knee out in circles, opening up through the hip. So these circles can be as big or as little as you like, but try and keep the left hip fairly still. So try and keep that movement isolated just towards the right hip. And we'll take those circles in the opposite direction. Lovely. And then bringing that knee back to center, and we're going to come into a half happy baby pose. So we're taking hold of the ankle, the outside of the foot or the big toe with the right hand, knee down towards the armpit, sole of the foot up towards the ceiling. With this pose, it can help to have the opposite leg bent. It just helps tilt the pelvis back, meaning you can move a little further into the stretch. And you can always utilize your strap here as well. So if it feels better to give you a little bit more space, have the strap in the right hand, hooking the strap around the right foot, drawing the knee down towards you as the sole heads up towards the ceiling. What we're working for is that opening out through the back of the knee. You'll feel a good stretch into the back of the thigh and into that right hip. Lovely. We're just going to take one more breath here. Great. So then if you're holding onto the foot or ankle, release the leg and take the strap around the foot. If you've already got your strap around the foot, then great, you're there already. And we're going to lengthen through the right leg, sending the foot up towards the ceiling. So we're trying to flex the foot, draw the toes towards you. And although we've lengthened through the leg, try to have at least a little bend in the knee. It can be bent as much as you need to, where you can find a nice stretch, but you can hold for a little bit of time. So as often with yoga, we're not trying to find the most extreme version of a pose. We're trying to find something that we can sustain in, we can spend some time in, that we can breathe into. If you find yourself moving into a pose where you can hold for barely a breath, then it's better to ease out of that slightly. Find something that you can hold for a good few breaths. That's the place where we build more mobility, where we build more flexibility and strength, not only in our body but also in our mind. So it's a good thing to apply to life. Find a version of a situation that you can be in for time and sustain, rather than the most extreme version. Whether that's extreme happiness, extreme sadness, just find a version you can hold. So maybe you found the back of the leg has relaxed a little into the pose. If it has, now is your moment that you could draw the leg a little closer in. Maybe you can flex the foot a little more. Find a little bit more of the stretch, but still not the most extreme version. Great. Then from here we are going to take the strap into the right hand. It can be as long as you like. Try and keep the shoulder blades snuggled down onto the mat. Right hand, honestly, right and left. Left hand resting on the left hip. We're going to take the right leg out to the side, opening up through that hip. The inhale will then draw the leg back to center. And again, exhaling out to the side, opening up through the hip. Inhaling to draw that leg to center. I'm just going to shuffle sideways slightly on my mat because I don't have quite enough space with the wardrobe. Then we'll exhale again out to the side, and this time holding and breathing. At any point though, if it doesn't feel good holding in this pose, then just ease back to center when you need to. Notice if your left hip has wanted to lift off the mat. If it has, just bring the right leg back up a little bit to that point where the left hip can really root down into the mat, and that's where you want to be holding. So we're finding that opening, that external rotation into our right hip. And if the left hip starts to lift, then although it might feel like you're moving further towards the pose, actually you're not gaining any extra movement. So really try and ground through the left hip. Lovely. We'll take one more breath here. I've been told my one more breath is unrealistic. So if that was your one more breath much sooner, don't worry. Just draw back to the center when you're ready. Lovely. So the leg coming up to the center, we're going to swap the strap into the left hand. Now right arm is going to go out at shoulder height to act as a bit of a counterbalance. Now this pose we're going to move into very slowly. So you're just going to draw the right foot a couple of inches across from the center line, flexing the foot, really push through the heel. And we should feel this down the outside of the right leg. So as I say, it's just a small movement for now. We're trying to work into the IT band with this stretch. So the IT band is very long and thin and quite a hard muscle to get a good stretch into. So by moving very gradually into this pose, we work into different parts of that muscle. So this is not about the destination, this is very much about the journey. Great. And we'll see if we can move a little bit further. So drawing the foot another couple of inches across, start to let the right hip lift a little off the mat. Keep flexing that foot, drawing the toes towards you, and that'll increase the stretch. At any point, if you need to ease back to center, then feel free to ease back to center. Don't feel like you're stuck in the pose. Great. We'll move a little bit further again, letting the right hip lift a bit more. Maybe you rest the left elbow down on the mat. Have the strap as long as you need to, so you aren't holding too much tension in the arms. Great, we'll move a little bit further again, letting the right hip lift a bit more, starting to find that twist through the spine. If this is feeling quite intense, feel free to lengthen the strap a little bit so the leg lowers a little. That'll take a little bit of the intensity out of the stretch. If you want to increase the intensity, by all means, shorten the strap a little bit, and that should increase the intensity. Great. We'll move a little bit further again, letting that right hip lift a bit more. Notice if the right shoulder blade has started to lift up off the mat. If it has, don't worry, just try and encourage it back down towards the mat. Or maybe you need to bring the leg back up a bit, and that's where you want to hold for today. And then if you like, taking the foot right the way across to rest on the floor to the left of you. Gaze could be up towards the ceiling or looking over the right shoulder. Again, trying to encourage the right shoulder blade down towards the mat. We'll take one more breath here. And really, really slowly take your time, drawing the leg back to center, ease the spine around. Maybe you want to bend the knee to help draw it back to center. And then when you reach center, we'll bend that knee in, release the strap, give the knee a little hug in, give the ankle a little circle one way, and then back the other way. Then we'll lengthen the right leg away from us along the mat. Take a moment, just letting the toes roll out, checking in with the legs. marveling at how the right leg is now magically a few inches longer than the left leg. I promise you they are still actually the same length, but if you don't believe me, you can have a little sneaky peek and check. Lovely. So then we'll get the left leg to join in with that party. So draw the left knee in, clasping around the left knee. The exhale hugs the thigh down towards the body. The inhale eases off. So it's exhaling, drawing in, inhaling, easing off. Remember, right leg could be bent or straight, whatever feels best in your body in this moment. Lovely. Then we're going to move into our half happy baby pose. It's taking hold of ankle or foot, using the strap if that's best for you, sole of the foot up towards the ceiling, knee coming down towards the armpit. So remember, with this one, it can help to have the opposite leg bent. It can be bent as much as you want. It can be a deep bend, it can be just a little bend. Or if it feels good having that leg lengthened away, then still having the leg lengthened away. Maybe noticing the breath again. Letting the awareness settle onto the breath to help you spend time in the stretch. Wonderful. So then we're going to take the strap around the foot. If the strap is there already, then fab. Sending that left foot up towards the ceiling. Strap in both hands. Flexing the foot, draw the toes towards you. Again, have at least a little bend in the knee so we're not locking that knee out. This way we work better into the muscles, right into the belly of the muscle. Notice if the leg shakes a little. That's okay, don't worry. If the leg is quite shaky, then maybe instead of holding still, your legs desire more a little easing in and out. If you do choose to ease in and out of the pose, then do this really slowly. So if you go quickly pulsing into it, the muscles think that they are getting ready for action. So if we move quickly pulsing, they're prepping themselves for action, which means they will contract. If we move gently and slowly into it, we move more into the parasympathetic state, which is that rest, that safety mode of our nervous system. So when we're in the safety mode, the muscles know that it's okay, they're not going to be required to escape anytime soon. So they can settle into the stretch, and that's where we find that flexibility. And if it feels like the muscles have settled into it, just easing a little bit further into the stretch. Great. So we're going to take the strap into the left hand. Our right hand is going to rest on our right hip to keep that right hip rooted to the mat. The exhale, we're going to take the left leg out to the side, opening up through the hip. The inhale, we'll draw that leg back to center. Exhaling out to the side, opening up. Inhaling back to center. And this time we'll exhale out to the side and holding in that pose. Again, if it doesn't feel good holding, then keep easing back to center. Really think about that rooting through the right hip. Maybe noticing if this feels different on this side. We all have one side that has a little bit more movement than the other. It's rare to find anybody who's perfectly even on both sides. So just without any judgment, without positive or negative, good, bad, just notice how this feels different on this side. Cultivating that knowledge of your own body. We'll take one more breath here. Lovely. And then we'll inhale and nice and slowly draw that knee back through center. That knee, that leg, the foot back to center. We'll take the strap into the right hand, left hand going out at shoulder height. So we're starting off with just that small movement, bringing the foot a couple of inches across from the center line. Keeping the left hip down for now, really flex the foot and feel that stretch down the outside of the leg. We'll move a little bit further into the stretch, drawing the leg a couple of inches further across, letting the left hip lift a little off the mat. So have the strap as long as you need to, so you can rest the elbow down so the arm's not getting tired. Great. We'll move a little bit further again. Draw that leg just a little bit further across. Start to let the left hip lift a bit more. The beginnings of that twist into the spine. Up and again. Let the left hip lift a bit more. Feel that twist working up through the spine. I need to shuffle again because I've got the wardrobe. Some of you, like me, might be practicing in a small space, so sometimes shuffling around your mat is required. Great, and then if you like, taking the foot right the way across, bringing it to rest on the floor to the right of you. Maybe turning the head over the left shoulder. We'll take one more breath here. And then really slowly take your time, easing that leg back to center. When we're back to center, bend the knee in. Release the strap, give the knee a little hug in, give the ankle a little circle. Gently circling the opposite direction. Great. And then lengthen the left leg away from you along the mat. Let the toes roll out, hands resting on the center or out to the sides, palms facing up. And just lowering the gaze or closing the eyes again. Drawing the awareness in, paying particular attention to the lower body. Notice how the legs, the hips, the lower back feels. With no judgment, no expectation, just awareness of how you feel in this moment. Notice the smooth, even breathing, relaxed and deep. And let any tension that's left in the body just ease out, sinking into the mat. Allowing yourself to be fully present as we lie here in Shavasana. Gently bringing a bit of movement back to the body, wriggling fingers, wriggling toes, circling wrists, circling ankles. Maybe taking a nice stretch when you're ready, lifting the arms up and overhead. And then curling yourself into a ball, draw the knees in, give the spine a bit of a rock. And then in whatever way is best for you, bringing yourself up to sitting. Wonderful. Well, thank you for joining me in this practice. I hope your legs and hips are feeling really lovely and stretched out. And yeah, if you enjoyed this practice, please do leave a comment below, give it a little like, and of course subscribe to my channel so that you'll be updated whenever there's a new video out. I really appreciate you joining me for this practice, and I will see you here again soon. Om Shanti.